And I'm back. Hey, you guys. Welcome to Edel, my little corner of the internet where we discuss issues that help us get better. Today, we're going to talk about relationship drama. I hope you're ready for this one. This one is going to be juicy. This is what I am assuming. So, buckle up your seatbelts and let's give this a go.
So my marriage is ending and I'm truly devastated. I knew it was coming, but I was in denial. So I was used for a green card. Long story short, I was used for a green card by a man from Nicaragua who did come here legally, but he needed a green card super seriously bad. And he had been through a series of failed relationships that he chalked up to just incompatibility. But what it was those women could not give him what he needed. But he found in me a safe, secure, loving woman who was willing to do anything to be loved. So he loved bombed the crap out of me, and I ate it up. And it just knew in the back of my mind, this doesn't feel right, but it felt good. It didn't feel right, but it felt good. So he loved bombed me. He paid a bunch of my bills. He bought a new car. He traded his green card for material and possessions. And looking back, and that's just so sweet of him, right? That's just so great of him. I thought we were building a life. I thought we were building assets and building a life and enjoying a good life. But that was not the case. What he was actually doing was going, you got me this green card. I will give you these little trinkets and then I'm going to leave you. He never intended to stay. Once he got his green card, 3 years after we got married. Like we got married, he proposed to me like 2 days after we married, practically, and then blasted all over social media, which was the last time he blasted me all over social media. But I spent 6 years posting about him. He's so great. He's so wonderful. He's so hardworking. He's working for our future. My man, my man, my man. He never did that for me. He never posted about me. He refused. Even when I asked him, he said, "I will not do that. That makes me uncomfortable." He said. I said, "But you did it in the beginning." Well, after he got me, he didn't have to purchase me anymore. I mean, once he had me married, he didn't have to do anything. So, the stuff that he did for me started to kind of dwindle. The first 3 years, he started a lot of cruelty, a lot of snide comments. He would use my emotional vulnerabilities against me. I would spiral for days and then go apologize to him for the cruelty that he inflicted on me. That was our 7 to 10 day cycle for years. But by year 3, once he got his green card, things got even worse. I mean, we're talking about fights where he would just shut down, stonewall me, totally gaslight me, and I would spiral, go back to him, apologize for the way he treated me, rinse, lather, repeat. So our last fight, he just said, "I'm moving out." And he did. It was over his infidelity. Um, and so he just couldn't take that accountability because he couldn't bear to be the villain in his own story. So not only did he use me for a green card, he was dismissive, avoidant, narcissistic, whatever you want to call it. That he did all the things. Okay, he fit all the boxes, and I was in complete denial for 6 years. So he said, "I'm moving out." So I was like, I'd had it. So he's gone and he's not coming back, right? So, of course, a few times I have reached out begging for him to come back because I am that pitiful. Um, and now I'm realizing that's horrible for me. I should be moving on with my life. So I am. I have amped up my therapy. I've amped up support groups. I have secured a deposit on another apartment. I'm moving on. Like I am moving. I'm doing all the divorce logistics. Okay, all of them. But yeah, that does not erase the pain. Like I can find a new apartment and I can change bank accounts and I can do all of the things, right? What I can't do is drive down the street and see a restaurant that we went to every week. What I can't do is go down to the square where we always used to go walking. What I can't do is hear a song that we would listen to together. What I can't do is even sit on our sofa where we would watch all of our shows. What I can't do is even be in the living room where I fell in love with him. I can't do any of those things.
I'll start by saying her self awareness is refreshing. You can tell she's definitely doing the work. My mind, however, is just so blown. Usually I'm fascinated when we know very well that this doesn't feel right, but it feels good. So we sort of ignore our intuition. And the thing about the intuition is that it processes information far much faster than the conscious mind ever could. So it's sort of cueing you to what is the next right step. Right step, not maybe. Most of the times it's always spot on, because it's like the internal compass. It just knows. And when we lean into it, sometimes it's uncomfortable and we feel unsure, but that's where the certainty lies. Certainty lies there because we are able in that moment to confront the things that are in front of us, even if we're trying not to see them and sort of in denial. We're able to confront them so that we don't procrastinate until the point where everything has gotten so dire and it's sort of now spiraled to a place where we feel like it's out of control and you feel like this is what I have to do, this is what is meant for me, and we end up losing the greatest resource that we have, actually, which is time. So let's not do that. I'm not blaming her though, I'm not blaming anyone. I'm just pointing out the things that we do and how to catch them on early so that we save ourselves the heartache and everything that comes with that. Now, I'm glad this guy was pulling his weight financially, because I'm just imagining if she had to do that. You're getting the guy a green card, and then now his bills are also on you. She would have been in a far much worse position, and I think it would have taken her much more to sort of get herself out of that murkiness. So the fact that he was paying bills and buying her a car and all that, power to her. I'm pleased with that. As much as the whole situation is a stinking mess, I'm at least happy about that. What was just making me feel like, I don't want to say second embarrassment, because it sort of feels like I'm saying something negatively about her, which by no means am I doing, but I was just feeling so uncomfortable when she was talking about how she was asking him to post her on social media, and he would say he can't do it, or it doesn't make him comfortable. I was just thinking, oh my goodness. And then she says she kept doing it over and over, and I was just thinking, oh hell no. That, it just sounds so awful. It sounds so painful, and that is her trying to, get some connection, get some intimacy from this person who has gotten what he wants, and he's not going to give it. That's it. He's not going to do it. And it becomes worse when you're super aware that this is not the life that you signed up for in no way, shape, or form. You can see it, you feel it, but you sort of feel like it's impossible to get out. And this is because of shame. Shame is something that can eat us up alive. This is a beast. And especially if she had maybe family or friends warn her when she was talking about, oh, I have a man, he's from Nicaragua. Oh my gosh, you guys. Some people, their antennas just go up immediately. And I'm just thinking, if she had someone or people that were already telling her, I don't think this is a good idea, and she had to just go on with it and prove that I know what I'm doing and this is exactly what I want. And now she's in it and she realizes, oops, this is not at all what I wanted, but now she has to keep this facade and just behave there like nothing to look at here, guys. Everything is nice and dandy. Look at us. My love, please post me on social media. He doesn't do it because you're trying to prove to people everything is great. And so you want him to prove to them by posting on his social media, which is not going to do. And now you're just spiraling and you cannot even, like, you feel like you're losing your mind. At some point you do. And then I'm also just thinking of the fact that he does this to her. This is emotional abuse. He abuses her emotionally. He locks her out. He denies her of all these needs that we have in a relationship, intimacy, connection. And she's just there begging. And then when things really hit the fan, she now has to apologize to this person. Can you think about that? Can you just imagine that? I can't. It's my brain refuses. I just cannot. I refuse to process this. I cannot. No, I'm not doing it. And then, as if that situation cannot get worse, he leaves her. He's the one that leaves her. Just let that sink in. And she's seeing all this, but there's nothing she can do because she's in too deep. My goodness, I'm even sweating, really. And that's the thing about such people. They mess up with your self-esteem. Whatever esteem you had when you were going in, now you have none of it. They mess up with your sense of worth. You literally have nothing left. You start believing that you're worth nothing, and it changes you. It literally changes. Your brain changes. The relationship you have with yourself is different because now you're experiencing something that you didn't sign up for, and it is there, and it's like you have to accept it. And that's why she's groveling back to ask the man to come back, because now she needs this, because it's like she needs this. It's like her oxygen. And it's so sad, because the question is, come back to what? You already know what the situation is, but you're not able to get you're not able to get yourself out of the situation. This is what gets so tricky about this kind of experiences. You're just there and you're drowning by yourself. You cannot talk to your friends. Remember, they'd already warned you. People had already seen these things, and you're there trying to prove that, guys, look, there's nothing to see here. We're fine. So you've lost yourself. You're asking this person to come back so that you can relieve this torture. But in your mind, you can't see it as what it is. You just want him to come back so that what you're portraying to the public is that everything is perfect, so that you can gruel in behind closed doors, so that nobody can see that you've conditioned yourself that now this is okay and this is what you have to accept, and now you believe that this is what you're worth. You've kept going back to this person, so now it is what is normalized within your system. Do you see how this is so layered? And when we don't stop and pause and allow ourselves just that self permission to say, hey, 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 what is going on here? It just keeps going on and on and on. It's like it doesn't stop. And you're sort of telling yourself that this is the only person that can persevere with you, because now you see yourself like you're the bottom of the barrel, you're the scum of the earth. So if only I beg him, if only he can stay with me, at least I'll be fine, at least I'll be able to survive. That is what now your self-talk is, because you don't have any sense of like dignity. This person has stripped you of your dignity. And lucky for her, this guy did not come back. I really say lucky for her, because I can only imagine if he came back and then she had to go through this cycle over and over. She was 6 years in. Imagine if he came back. She didn't have the strength, of course, to get herself out of it. So I think him leaving is what then pushed her to be able to get the help. And sometimes when such people come back, it even becomes worse than what they were doing in the beginning, because you're allowing them. And what you allow is what is going to continue. And because now you've shown them that you're going to take it, now they come with a higher dose, okay? And you've already convinced yourself that this is what you deserve. So you're going to be treated that way. And the sad part is, until this person leaves you, you don't have the strength to live. You cannot live. So we really have to be aware and wake up, be awake in our lives. Look at what is happening, like really wake up. It's not about just being on autopilot and being robots in our own lives. And you cannot accept, if this is behavior that you cannot accept your children to go through, or even a friend, if you're giving a friend advice, if you would tell them to walk away, it is now your time to be that friend for yourself. You have to understand that you don't want this for anybody else. So why would you want that for yourself? Okay? Just understand it this way and just put it in that perspective, and then you'll find it that it's tough, yes, but it's not impossible. You have to get yourself out of it, because otherwise then that's it. Your life is over, literally. But the moment you take the first step and reclaim yourself, the power comes back to you, and it's the beginning of a new phase. This is what we don't understand. We just feel like, oh, no, 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 this person understands me and it's where I need to be. Let's not do that. But I'm proud of her, because she's really done her best, really trying to reclaim herself, because this is a really tough thing. Some people just think it's impossible. And you know what? Some, when they're left, they don't even take time to heal. What happens is they get a partner who actually treats them the same way. So this is the thing. If you don't understand what is actually happening and this person has left you, hasn't come back, now you are desperate for to be loved, and it doesn't matter who it is, because now remember, you're already thinking that you're worthless, you're worth nothing, you'll just settle for anything. Oh gosh, I wish somebody could just love me. That's not actually love, but to you, you're interpreting it as love, which is not the case. And then you get somebody else who is treating you just like that person, or maybe worse. It is the same script, different cast, but there you are, repeating the same thing, just a different person. And to you, this is what is meant for you. This is what you think you have to accept. And that becomes your life. And now imagine having children in such a situation. We don't need that. And imagine if you had now children from the previous relationship. I'm glad that she didn't have children with this person, but in a general context, just imagine if now you're coming in with children that are not even of a partner that's treating you so badly. How do you think they're going to treat your children? Some of them can even do the unthinkable. I don't even want to mention the things. So let's be vigilant with ourselves, really. And let's, if it's too hard to do it, let's seek support. Go for therapy, get a support system, speak, do something. And don't just think that, okay, let me just hope my next relationship is going to be better because this guy he was just the one that was wrong. The next person must be the one that's best for me. That's not how it works, because the work has to be done by you. It's not by, the work doesn't happen by you ignoring the things and just hoping that they'll disappear on their own. Absolutely not, because you're attracting that which you believe you are. So you're believing that you're worthless, so you'll get another person to repeat the same behavior. And that becomes the story of your life. So this is why it's very important to take time, understand what our wounds are, understand what it is that we believe about ourselves, because our belief systems, that's where the work is. Whatever you believe about yourself, you have to switch it up. You have to come from a clean slate, become literally like a new person. But this takes a bit of work, so be patient with yourself. You don't have to be having my man, my man, my man, or my woman all the time. It's okay to be alone. It's okay to take time to heal yourself. It is okay. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for being here. Share your thoughts with me in the comments. Remember, you're not broken, you're not damaged, you're not unlovable, you're not too old, you're not too far gone, and it's definitely not too late. Start where you are. I will see you next time.